Hello and welcome to Steve's Vintage Model Builds, and welcome back for those who are returning, and thanks very much to all my subscribers and returning viewers, and for new viewers, welcome. Long weekend here in Canada, the official start to summer, Victoria Day weekend, in honor of Queen Victoria. It's also our provincial capital down at the south end of Vancouver Island here, where I am. And they got a big, very impressive statue up there. And after all, our province is called British Columbia. And, oh, okay, well, since we're on that little subject, there were actually... Of course, Canada, all of Canada was a colony of either France or the Great Britain. And later, after the British defeated the French, came under all British rule, although you'd wonder these days. Anyways, not going to get too political about it, or political at all about it. Anyways, yeah, so what's now British Columbia was actually two colonies. The colony of British Columbia and the Vancouver Island colony, which was a very separate entity and very fiercely protective of the island identity, even now to this day, when identifying with geographical areas doesn't seem to be very in vogue. Anyways, yeah, so just a little bit of history there, and then in 1867 with Canadian Confederation, of course there were lots of negotiations and and pretty much what sold the Vancouver Island colony was, okay, we'll put the provincial capital on your island. So that's why Victoria is the capital and not Vancouver or Merritt. Anyways, okay, so here we go. First off, solve the stand mystery. And Steve's not too bright sometimes. As a matter of fact, some would say slower than a Galapagos turtle. But anyways, it's actually two stands. So there's this little flimsy one that has North and South America on it. There we go. Which barely holds it up. And then there's the fancy swivel stand, which the base of which I made a mess of. I was getting to the end of it. This was to me a clear blue spray. Yeah, and this is going to have to go in the brake fluid or whatever. It was near the end of the bottle, I guess, or the can. So I don't know. I don't know what went wrong. I don't know what goes wrong with these paints. But anyways, if I can't recover it, then I'll paint it another different solid color, and I might use it for a different model, but we'll see about that. Anyway, so this is sufficient, and set this aside. I'm going to do a little bit of I'm not going to do every single panel line, but I'm going to do these main circular ones and square ones. I'm I'm not very confident using the panel liner, so I'm not gonna. Okay, that's enough of that. There you go. And obviously I masked this off. See my little guys in there? Bombardier, pilot, co-pilot. Getting ready to have a sandwich. Okay, next the blisters. Gonna use this just clear PVA or white glue, as we used to call it. Well, it's really stuck on there. There we go. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think there's one on the bottom. No? No. None on the bottom. Okay. And just a little daub here. Oops. That's why you don't hold the thing over your model when you're dispensing the glue. You just put a little daub in there, a little daub in there. Blister number 1. Oh, Steve. And observation blister number 2. Stop it. There we go. Give those a moment. Get these off the sprue. So I guess I got, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours into this. And so didn't want to fit in there. Anyway, so yeah, an easy weekend build. And last one. And now I'm thinking, well, I guess if I need to, I'll pop them out later. But should have provided some background color for these blisters. Anyways, if I have to pop them off, I have to pop them off and redo it. And we have this little guy in the back here. This is the turret gunner's cupola, or whatever you want to call it. All the other guns were controlled by the analog computer, as we've discussed. And looks like that goes like that. And that slides in there just as nice as you could want. There you go. Okay. Okay, so that's the clear parts. And so now I'm not going to paint in here. You're hardly going to be able to see it once the props are on anyways. But what I am going to do is put some panel wash in these air intakes. Oh. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I'm working. This panel wash stuff is deadly. It's I've got the window open, so I apologize if there's any street noises coming in. It's Saturday of a long weekend, so I expect it'll be pretty quiet. But, you know, there's always one or two. There we go. Okay, next. Teeny little brush. Flat black paint. And we will paint up the guns. That's a 1. We're having oven baked ribs tonight. Yum. Corn on the cob, baked potato, sour cream. Oh, that one has popped off already. Get in there. Well, we'll deal with that later. Stop it. Okay. This one you had no choice, straight out. But the other ones I offset. You got one pointing that way, this one's pointing this way. Yeah, to touch that up with a bit of silver after. Okay. The model gods are telling me, remove the blisters, paint the interior, then glue them on. Except for that one that doesn't want to come off. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you can see there's a few problematic areas here. This one here on the wingtip. The wingtip didn't want to go in. So there's a big fat seam there. I tried to sand it out. Now there's a bunch of sand marks. This one went together much more nicely. And so now we have our trusty stand. Yeah, you see how flimsy this is. But, you know, if it's just sitting on the shelf. There. Okay, Steve, there you go. Okay, that was Tamiya, so that goes into thinner. No, not for now. Next, the propellers with the highly sophisticated cowlings. And sorry about that. Someone in need of the services of the first responders up the road. Some people might not like it, but I don't mind one little bit having a fire station right up the road. When I had the heart attack in 2015, we were fortunate enough to have a fire station right down the road there too. And they were first on the scene and got me on oxygen and hooked me up to the ECG and saw the kind of heart attack I was having, and everybody moved did sweet. Unfortunately, it took over between the time I made the first call and the time I made it to the hospital. We were on the North Shore, and they took me to the heart hospital downtown Vancouver. Anyways, yeah, it was rush hour, and it was nearly 3 hours from the onset. And then I got there, and they knew what they needed to do. Angioplasty and a couple stents, or a stent, immediately, anyways, but then they'd been expecting me, but by the time I got there, the tables were full, as it were. So anyways, I was in the emergency, and that's when I coded. And anyways, it was great to have the guys there. Okay. Took a while for the first ambulance to get there too. And then the regular paramedic ambulance wasn't good enough, so they wanted the critical care ambulance, so we waited more for that. Anyways, you guys don't want to hear this stuff. Anyways, the long and the short of it is, like I said, very happy. Even though my heart's perfect now. Very happy to have them just down the road. Okay, so yeah, I got the propellers finished up, got the yellow painted on, and If this were a more expensive, more sophisticated kit, I'd go whole hog, and I'd do my best with the law and the blah, but yeah, I'm not going to agonize over a few unsanded spots, etc. I know, I'm a heretic. My father's rolling over in his grave. He was a terrible perfectionist. He was the kind of perfectionist that, if it wasn't perfect, like, he'd throw it against the wall and, get all upset. Take away any semblance of enjoyment with whatever the project had been. I don't need that. Didn't need it then, don't need it now. Was that Led Zeppelin song, Ramble On? Yay! There we go. Oh, and there's this very rudimentary system. The prop goes in here. A little bit of cement just on the very end. That piece goes in. And yes, these will rotate. They will also probably be kind of wobbly. So because there's paint here in these little surfaces, and I don't feel like scraping that. I'm going to use Tamiya regular, but I'm going to use the Tamiya regular cement. That it'll go right through that paint and it'll bond up nicely. And but I'm going to use the brush from the extra thin. And there's little notches for locator pins here. Doesn't want to spin as loosely as the other one. Oh well, not a child anymore. It's just going to go sit on the shelf anyways. Oh, what happened there? I got a real bobblehead model here, eh? Look at that. There. Sorry, you guys should be getting a better look than that. There you go. Okay, and I'm going to take it off and pick it up for a minute here because this isn't fitting. Okay, and the last one. Yeah, everything fit together pretty well with this kit. I mean, you know, there were a couple little things, and you know, like this seam, I could have, you know, I could have put putty over it and sanded it down and everything, but you know, it's a throw together. Not that I don't respect the kit. Just respect the kit. Okay, now, last. Where is it? Alright folks, sorry for that, and we have an issue here. I'm not surprised. I knew about it, and I figured, okay, we'll get the model put together and figure it out at that time. Now is that time. Also in the clear parts, I got this. I have no idea what it is. There's nothing in the instructions that looks like it. So I don't know. Anyways, might be interesting to use for something. So that'll go in the spare parts. But here's the problem here. Oh, excuse me. Here's this issue. I mean, this isn't even close to fitting. I'm going to have to trim this right down and do a bit more work on that. So, not the end of the world, not a total disaster, but it'll need to be worked on. But in the meantime, I'm going to go back to the black. Because here at the tail and all these leading edges are painted black. And I'm going to use the semi-gloss for this because I think that'll go better with the shiny silver. Oh, by the way, do you like the shiny silver? Didn't that, I mean, you know, I think it came out beautifully. That's fabulous stuff. That's the Tamiya TS30 Silver Leaf, and it's just beautiful. use it here on the Mirage too, and it comes out beautiful finish. Okay, so we're up to 36 minutes here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of this painting here, and then we'll come back for a part 4, which will be the final decaling. And see, yeah, these aren't. Anyways, it's not a big deal. So there we go. Okay, so yeah, so let's do this. Now, here's what I'm going to do. This is too wobbly. These should be dry enough now. And oh, excuse me. But for the blister mounts, I'm going to use flat black. So put the lid on when not in use. Not only avoids spills, but avoids it drying up. Well, I mentioned in the first video, I got a couple new projects. And a new kit coming tomorrow, for one thing. And I started the Hasegawa Voyager space probe, the 148 kit. So we'll be bringing updates on that. There, so I expect it was dark inside the aircraft. Okay. Okay, that doesn't have to be perfect because the blister's going to sit on top anyways. And Okay, so that's it for the flat black. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to use this brush. This is good for flat, broad strokes. And like everything else I do here, I'm no expert, and for the most part, I'm slightly above bumbling idiot. Uh, but yeah, I mean, as far as painting goes, you need to figure it out yourself. What brushes you like to use, what you get the best effect with, um, and do try different ones. And you know, this is a tester's brush, and it was nice for some things, but it just kind of all went. So now all it's really good for is like dusting, which is useful. So, and oh, and I got this one came. It was a set of 3. This one's great for stippling. You see that? Yeah. So, but there's all sorts of other shapes and sizes, and so, anyways, gonna dive in here and see how we do. So we've got this leading edge here. Oh, you can't see it. There's the leading edge here, and it is marked by a line. I might end up masking. I'll just see how this goes freehand. And so what I do is I start at the fatter part, and I don't try to cover too much, but to get down, and then just kind of fill in the line. Some people might start at the line and work their way out, to each their own. But I think it's better to draw the paint down to the line than to start at the line and maybe, risk having it drip over or whatever. go. I think that looks pretty good for freehand. A little bit here, but I'll deal with that. There's a nice well-defined line to follow too, which is always nice. Okay. Okay, there we go. So we're up well over 45 minutes here for this one. You know, you've seen what we've seen, and we'll be back for another part. And I'll do all of these details off camera and get this fixed up and set. And then the next episode will be just touch-ups and decaling. So there it is. So far, the Atlantis B-29 Superfortress. Okay, so thanks for joining me. I appreciate everyone's time. It's valuable, and especially with nicer weather and so on and so forth. But I hope you enjoy the time that you spend with the channel, and I enjoy making the videos, and appreciate all the comments that I get, and always happy to get comments. Don't mind criticism. Of course, I don't mind compliments. I don't mind being corrected, and so on and so forth. So, but just be respectful about it. So, all right. So, thanks very much. We'll be back next time, and we'll finish up this little build, and we'll be able to get it in well under 8 hours. So, an easy one-day knockoff, and you could stretch it out too if you really wanted to be OCD about it. Okay, so thanks again, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye now.